So Silicon Valley Democratic Congressmember Khanna will be holding a town hall meeting in Kim's district this weekend. It's not the only town hall meeting he's holding in other members' districts. Congressman Khanna joins me live now. Congressman, good to see you. So why are you doing this, holding town hall meetings in Democratic districts?
Well, in Republican districts, because they refuse to do them. I mean, Representative Young Kim has not answered why for a budget that has $180 billion Medicaid cuts. And some of these districts I'm going to, 2/3 of folks are on Medicaid. These cuts are devastating, and I want to make sure people know that their representatives should not be voting for these cuts in Medicaid, that they should not be voting for firing, they should not be voting for closing down Social Security offices, and to hear what they have to say.
Have you spoken to Republicans, Young Kim, Ken Calvert, David Valadao, about what you're doing, about holding these town halls in their districts?
I've not spoken to them about this. I mean, obviously, I've spoken to them about other issues, but this is nothing personal. I mean, this is just to make sure that we don't have these devastating cuts. The Republicans passed a budget on the House floor that has $880 billion of cuts in Medicaid. Whether they're going to vote for it in final passage, maybe this will convince them not to. And my interest is to actually get them to stop these cuts and to get them to stop what DOJ is doing on firing veterans. I would love to have them vote a different way.
And just to be clear, because I think they're kind of playing some word games here. They say that there aren't any cuts in Medicaid, but yet they say to the committee that oversees almost nothing other than Medicaid, you've got to find almost $1 trillion in cuts, and the only thing that that committee could cut would be Medicaid, right?
Correct. There are $880 billion that they would have to cut in Medicaid. That's not my view. That's the view of all the independent groups. And, you know, I rather they just be honest. And this is why they should be having town halls. And I'm coming to hold a town hall. Hopefully it'll inspire them to have a town hall. But there is real anger with the Medicaid cuts.
Yeah, and obviously we're having some Zoom issues with him, but we asked for Representative Kim to join us. We hope she will join us soon. Meanwhile, I want to get your thoughts on the state of the Democratic Party. Governor Newsom has his newest podcast out. His latest guest is Tim Walz, who's the first Democrat that he's had on his podcast. Both of them talking about the challenges of where the Democratic Party is at, why the party lost. First off, what do you think of the podcast as a concept, and what do you think of some of the discussion about where the Democratic Party is at, record low approval ratings?
Well, look, if he's having a conversation with Governor Walz, good for him. But I think the biggest thing we need to do is recognize that the status quo is broken, that people are very angry at their economic situation. We should be campaigning on Medicare for All, as Bernie Sanders did. I was proud to be a co-chair of Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2020. We should be campaigning on a living wage at $1. We should be getting super PAC money out and big money out, and among as many people. So good for them for having the conversation.
And lastly, we've seen this flurry of judicial orders now, judges telling the Trump administration basically stop a lot of what you are doing. We're seeing this on immigration, we're seeing this on LGBTQ rights, we're seeing this on a lot of different things. What do you make of where we're at as a country, and are you worried that we are headed towards a constitutional crisis, which would be the Trump administration basically saying, no, we're not going to follow your judicial order?
I am very worried. And look, bad facts make for bad law. There's no one in the Democratic Party who doesn't think that if someone is a member of a Venezuelan gang that's committing a member of the gang. And this is why we have due process in this country. And what Trump is doing is violating any sense of due process. That is not America. We need to stand up for the rule of law, and I'm very concerned that he's going to continue to defy court orders, and that would be a constitutional crisis, especially if he defies the Supreme Court. I just want to say very briefly, because I got cut off on Zoom, that March 23rd will be in Anaheim, Bakersfield, Norco. We have a huge turnout and really hope people will show up to say no to these Medicaid cuts and the firing of veterans.
And to that point, Congressman, we're putting the information up on the screen right now. Again, Bakersfield, Anaheim, Norco. You can RSVP by scanning the QR code on your screen right now and head out there. I'm sure it's going to be fiery, and I'm sure you're going to get some Republicans and some Democrats, and that will be, I'm sure, entertaining, but kind of what democracy is all about. Congressman Khanna, thanks so much for taking the time. We apologize for the Zoom problems, but it's always good to see you.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.